Yo, what's up, guys? Today we're going to be going over the second deck that was revealed for Commander Masters. It's the Planeswalker Party deck. We're just going to go in order from like release date. So this one was, or not release date, but announcement. This one was announced on I think it was Tuesday. Yeah, Tuesday. The it was Tuesday the 18th. This is a white, blue, and red Planeswalker deck. But before we get right into it, I just want to ask you guys to go down there and hit that subscribe button. We're trying to hit 1,000 subs before the end of the year. We're making good progress. Videos have been better. As you can see, I got a new background for when I'm going over stuff like this. I figured it was better than looking at a black background. But yeah, let's get right into it, guys. All right, guys. So here it is. It is the Planeswalker Party deck, white, blue, red under Commodore Guff. We'll go over Commodore Guff and what he does. He is a 5 loyalty legendary Planeswalker named Guff for one blue, red, and a white. At the beginning of your end step, put a loyalty counter on another target Planeswalker you control. Pretty decent. Then he has a +1, says create a 1/1 red wizard creature token with tap, add red mana. Spend this mana only casts Planeswalker spell. Cool way to get some like mana dorks on the field for Planeswalkers specifically. And then his -3 says you draw X cards, and Guff deals X damage to each opponent, where X is the number of Planeswalkers you control. So he's kind of like he's a pinging machine. He wants to ping people for all your planeswalkers. I think he's fine. I still think my overall idea or overall opinion of a Super Friends deck, which is what planeswalker decks are commonly referred to as in Commander. I think that 3 colors just isn't enough, and you're missing two of the best colors for planeswalkers, being green and black. But it's fine. Blue's fine as well, but it's whatever. Now we have the face commander, or not the face commander, the alt commander, Leori Spark Touched Hunter. It is a 3/3 elemental cat for one of each of the colors in the deck. Has flying and vigilance, says whenever it deals combat damage to a player, choose a planeswalker type until the end of turn. Whenever you activate an ability of a planeswalker of that type, copy that ability. Choose new targets for the copies. So really cool if like you're running both of the or if like you have Commander Goffari in the field, you can ping for just the -3 twice, which is really nice, as well as some other planeswalkers that have some good, bonus effects that you want to get off multiple times without having to lose loyalty counters on it. We have some of the new cards that were created for the deck. We have Guff Rewrites History. This is a currently like a card that people are excited about, like really excited about. That's in the deck. For each player, choose target non-enchantment, non-land permanent that player controls. Those permanents owner or owners shuffle them into their libraries. Each player who controlled one of those permanents exiles cards from the top of their library until they exile a non-land card, then puts the rest on the bottom of their library in a random order. Each player may cast the non-land card they exiled without paying their mana cost. Kind of like group hunt or group hug type stuff, which is nice. Then we have Gatewatch Beacon, an artifact for 2 and a white. When it enters the battlefield, or it enters the battlefield with 3 loyalty counters on it. Tap, add a white mana, and then it says whenever a planeswalker enters the battlefield under your control, if Gatewatch Beacon has loyalty counters on it, you may move a loyalty counter from Gatewatch Beacon onto that planeswalker. So 3 mana for 3 loyalty counters that you can just move over to new planeswalkers, which is nice. Then we have the Onake Oathkeeper, 2 white or 0/4 Ogre Spirit. Creatures can attack planeswalkers you control unless their controller pays 1 for each creature the controller is attacking a planeswalker you control. God, big yawn. So he's kind of like a worse ghostly prison for planeswalkers, I guess. There's a little fruit fly flying around my head. Then for 4, a white and a white, exile Onake Oathkeeper from your graveyard. Return target planeswalker card from your graveyard to the battlefield. Very cool. I do like this. This is a nice little recursion for some of the bigger planeswalkers that you can end up having. My I was itching my forehead, so the VC tracker thing kind of just shoves me around. Then we have two new planeswalkers. We'll go over the first one. Teo, Geometric Tactician. 2 colorless and a white for a 3 loyalty counter legendary planeswalker Teo. When Teo, Geometric Tactician, enters the battlefield, create a 0/4 white wall creature token with Defender and Flying, which is nice. Um, you get a 0/4 wall in addition to your planeswalker, and it says +1. You and target opponent each draw a card. Nice. And then -2, choose left or right until your next turn. Each player may attack only the nearest opponent in the chosen direction, and planeswalkers controlled by that opponent. Huh. Kind of like the wall Parmekion or Paramecon, the wall commander that makes you choose a direction. Kind of nice. Oh, there's 3. I didn't know there was 3. Oof. I've actually heard some good things about the Chandra. We have another creature. We have Spark Shaper Visionary, a 0/5 human wizard for 2 and a blue. At the beginning of combat on your turn, choose any number of target planeswalkers you control until the end of turn. They become a 3/3 blue bird creature token or creature with flying hexproof, and whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player, scry one. That's pretty nice. Um, hmm, that's actually really good. That's really good because you can just you can swing with your planeswalkers, which is really nice. Itching my eyes. Sorry. Then we have Vronos, Masked Inquisitor, legendary planeswalker Vronos with 5 loyalty counters for 3 and 2 blue. His +1 is up to 2 target planeswalkers you control phase out at the beginning of the next step. So you can protect some planeswalkers you control. -2 for each opponent, return up to 1 target non-land permanent that player controls to its owner's hand. You can give your opponent's lands, and you can get for each opponent. Turn up to something they already have, right? Permanent that player controls. Yeah, so you can just bounce shit. All right, cool. And then -7. Target artifact you control becomes a 9/9 construct artifact creature token or creature and gains vigilance indestructible, and this creature can't be blocked. So you can just make you can make your soul ring big. Then we have Jaya's Phoenix, a creature Phoenix, 3/3 for 4 and a red. Flying haste whenever Jaya's Phoenix deals combat damage to a player or planeswalker. Copy that next loyalty ability. Um, you activate this turn when you activate it. You choose new targets for the copy. Whenever you cast a planeswalker spell, you may return Jaya's Phoenix from your graveyard to the battlefield. So it's got the Phoenix recursion that most Phoenixes have, which is nice. But also being able to just like save your planeswalker abilities for after combat and just or the one you want to use like twice is nice. And then we have Chandra, Legacy of Fire, a legendary planeswalker Chandra for with 3 loyalty counters, 4 and a red. At the beginning of your end step, Chandra Legacy of Fire deals X damage to each opponent, where X is the number of planeswalkers you control. That's really good. That's really good. +1, add 1 red for each planeswalker you control. Amazing. Especially in a Super Friends deck. And then 0, remove a loyalty counter from each of any number of permanents you control. Exile that many cards from the top of your library. You may play them this turn. That's nice. That's actually really cool. I can see why people have been ranting and raving about this Chandra. And then we have the deck list. So you got Commodore Guff. We have a Johnny, or a reprint of a Johnny, a reprint of Awakened Inferno Chandra, Torch of Defiant Chandra, Elspeth Sun's Champion. That's a good one. Gideon Jorah. That's nice. Jace Beleren, Jace Architect of Thought. This one's a little less impactful because we just got a reprint of Architect of Thought in the I think it was the vehicle deck from Kamigawa. Jace Mirror Mage, Nahiri, yeah, Nahiri the Harbinger, Narset of the Ancient Way, good reprint. Um, Narset Parter of Veils, another good reprint. Sublime Artificer is nice. Sarkhan the Masterless is good. The Wanderer is always a good Planeswalker. A little less Planeswalkers than I thought. I feel like it would have been better with like. I mean, you're going to be switching most of these out for better Planeswalkers, anyways. That you're going to want to get multiple hits off of. Then we have because that's what 14, 15 with Guff, 16, uh, 17, and 18. So 18 Planeswalkers. I guess that's Um, creature wise, we have Cartographer's Hawk, Deep Glow Skate, must have in Planeswalker decks. Flux Channeler, good proliferate card. Fog Bank, Grateful Apparition, Kazul Tyrant of Cliffs, Mangara the Diplomat, that's a good reprint. Narset Enlightened Master, another great reprint. Reskos Explorer is a good reprint. Silent Arbiter is great. That's just a great card. Spark Double's amazing. Throwing Bird is good. Um, Wall of Denial is also good. So like it's a very defensive Pillow 40 deck with Planeswalkers. I mean, that's what most Planeswalker decks end up being. We have Path of Exile, Semester's End, and Swords of Plowshares are your instants. Blasphemous Act, Deploy the Gatewatch. That's a good card. Promise of Loyalty is good. Repeated Reverberation, Urza's Ruinous Blast. All good sorceries. Enchantments, we've got the Oaths of Gideon, Jace, and Teferi, probably the three better oaths. Land wise, you got nothing great, I guess. Interplanetary Beacon's good for the Planeswalker stuff. So is Karn's Bastion, um, Mobilized District. But from what I've heard, most of these decks have pretty lackluster land bases, besides the Eldrazi one. Artifacts, we've got Arcane Signet and Soul Ring, Azorius Signet, Aura Signet, Belwar Stone. The Honor Worn Shaku is a good one. Is it Signet? Neverall's Disc. Of course, there's Neverall's Disc. Why wouldn't there be? Norn's Annex is a good card. Talisman of Conviction, Creativity, and Progress, all good. Wayfarer's Bauble, and then probably the biggest reprint in the deck that people are super excited about, and it's the Chain Veil. So I think we're gonna go over the other deck after this as well, which is the Enchantments deck, only because I have a little bit less, a lot less to say about this deck. I'm not super impressed by it. I think it's fine, but I feel like you could do so much better if you just bought the new Planeswalkers, Leori, um, basically all these new cards except for the red stuff. Um, and then just build under the best Super Friends commander, which is Atraxa, OG Atraxa. Like I just feel like that's just your better bet than spending $80 on this. Like there's good reprints in here, don't get me wrong. Like the Elspeth Sun's Champion is a good reprint. This Narset is a good reprint. The Mangara and Narset down here are good reprints, as well as Spark Double, Arbiter, Deep Low Skate, and then like Semester's End are good. Deploy the Gatewatch. These oaths are good, and then the Chain Veil is great. But like at that point, like it's it gets to the price of the deck, but like you like at that point just buy singles. Like don't spend $85 for chuff lands that you're gonna switch out for better lands and some lackluster planeswalkers that you're not gonna want to run. I think this one is a miss, 100%. I kind of think the Sliver one is also a miss. I know I went into great detail about the Sliver deck in the last video, but the Sliver deck is definitely a miss. There's so many. cards in the sliver deck that were just missing. That like if you didn't have the foresight to buy them, which I did because I wasn't gonna have a lackluster deck. I had a great feeling that the deck was gonna be missing most of the 5 colors, the land, the artifact, which is Sliversmith, and then like a bunch of the good uh sliver drops. So I made sure that I picked up the stuff I needed, but if you didn't have the foresight, you're kind of stuck with a very lackluster creature deck that's not going to do very well. So these two are very lackluster. Um, I do like the sliver deck. That's the one I picked up, but I do think that out of the four, there's only really two good ones, and it's the enchantment deck and the Eldrazi deck. But we're gonna go over the enchantment deck now. They even say best reprints in Planeswalker Party: a Johnny Steadfast, Torch of Defiance, Spark Double, and the Chainveil. I didn't think that Steadfast would be. I mean, it's a good reprint, but like I guess they're not really talking about money wise though, right? Because the Johnny Steadfast isn't that expensive. I don't even think Torch of Defiance is that expensive. She might be a little bit more than I'm giving her credit for, but Spark Double and Chainveil are definitely like great reprints. So the enchantment deck is Enduring Enchantments. It is a Abzan deck. I didn't pick it up. My buddy's thinking about picking it up, but I didn't pick it up because I've already got two Abzan decks in the food deck that came out for the Lord of the Rings stuff, and then also I have my Carador deck. So I didn't really think to make this. Plus, I already have an enchantment deck. I've got Earl, so I'm not really interested in having two enchantment decks and then also having three Abzan decks. There are some really good reprints in this deck, though. Like this deck has some fantastic reprints. Uh, Enchantments in Graveyard is the theme. White, black, and green are the colors, and Enixthia, Hand of Erebos, is the commander, face commander. Enixthia, Hand of Erebos is a legendary enchantment creature demigod, 4/4 for 5, 2 colorless, and Abzan. She has Menace, gives your other enchantment creatures Menace uh, as well. And then whenever she enters the battlefield or attacks, exile up to one target non-orc enchantment card from the graveyard. Create a token that's a copy of that card, except it's a 3/3 black zombie creature token or creature in addition to its other types. I'm so used to saying token, but it's not a token because it's a physical card that you're pulling out of your graveyard. So you get your enchantment, you get an enchantment back that's also a body, which is nice. I think that you're gonna stick with a Nixthia. The alt commander is amazing, but I think she is better as an include in something like Tom Bombadil or running her own sagas deck. She's super focused on sagas, but she is great. They're both great cards. So we're gonna come down here and look at her. It's Narcy, Fabled Singer. She's a 3/3 legendary creature human bard for 1 in Abzan. Has lifelink. Says whenever you sack an enchantment, draw a card. And whenever the final chapter ability of a saga you control resolves, each opponent loses X life, and you gain X life where the X is that saga's mana value. This is amazing for saga decks. One, I don't like ruling thing here. Not really like a tough one because it tells you at the end. But when you finish a saga, you sack it. Like it doesn't just get destroyed. You sack it um on its last turn. So you're getting that draw no matter what when you're using your sagas. But also because you're finishing the final chapter, you're dealing that damage as well, which is really nice. Like once you start rolling into like playing like 2 to 3 sagas a turn, especially low mana value ones, you're getting draw off of it. You're getting the effects of the saga as well, and you're dealing damage, which is really nice. She's an A+ card. I think that her Enixthia, this deck is probably going to have the better card value in it just based on what the deck does. Like it's super interesting. Like you had the Eldrazi deck, which isn't even really an Eldrazi deck, it's a colorless theme deck. You have the Planeswalker deck, which is fine, which it's also themed around a certain type of a like card type, I guess. And then the Slivers, which is a creature card type thing as well. I guess this one is also a card type because it's enchantment based. The whole deck is enchantment based, but I feel like this is the only one that kind of can do way more than the other decks can do. So we'll go through some of the new cards. This one's an A plus. Ondu Spirit Dancer is a 3/3 core cleric for 4 and a white. Whenever an enchantment enters the battlefield under your control, you may create a token that's a copy of it. Do this only once each turn. This is gonna be like a mandatory include in enchantment decks. Like I have to pick up 3 of these things. I need one for my shrines deck, and I need one for Carador, and then I also need one for, or not Carador, Earl, but I also need one for Carador. There's a bunch of enchantments in Carador right now. Then we have Boon of the Spirit Realm, 3 colorless, 2 white, has Constellation. Whenever it or another enchantment enters the battlefield under your control, put a blessing counter on it, and then creatures you control get +1/+1 for each blessing counter on Boon of the Spirit Realm. This card is nuts. This is nuts. If you can get this out on like turn 3 or 4, depending on how your mana is looking, every enchantment is just a like a fucking battering ram, uh, like attached to your creatures. Like it's amazing. We have a new saga in Battle at the Hell Vault, which is 4 mana and 2 white. Says as it enters, you add a lore counter, sack after 3. For turns 1 and 2, for each player, exile up to 1 target non-saga, non-land permanent that player controls until Battle at the Hell Vault leaves the battlefield. Um, So you basically exile 3 things a turn while this is on here, and then create Avacyn, a legendary 8/8 white angel creature token with flying, vigilance, and indestructible when it finishes. So I'm gonna scroll down real quick. Ooh, they don't have the tokens on here. I forgot. Give me one moment. I'm gonna do that thing I did last time, and I'm gonna open the. Get rid of that. And I'm gonna go to Magic's website. I'm gonna bring. Where are they? There we are. I'm gonna show you all of the tokens. So, agree. All right, go back here. So you've got copy tokens that double as soldiers, birds, a Pegasus, a 4/4 angel, a cat beast, a worm to spider, human warrior, zombie army, and then Elf Warrior Cleric, but then you have the copy into this Avacyn. This stained glass window Avacyn art is fantastic. I'm in love with it. It's so good. Also the no, that's wrong. Mandergoth, yeah. We'll look at the tokens here. You got walls into core allies, dragons into core allies, the all of the emblems. You've got the Ajani Steadfast into wizard. Um I think all of the emblems are wizards. So you've got Johnny Steadfast, emblem for Chandra, for both your Chandras, Narset, and then Elspeth, and then Elspeth is also a copy of Jace, and then you have the Soldier into Servo and Soldier into Ogre. So those are your your tokens for the 2 decks. Then we have Demon of Fate's Design, 4 colorless, 2 black for a legendary or enchantment creature demon 6/6 with flying and trample. Says once during each of your turns, you may cast an enchantment spell by paying life equal to its mana value rather than paying its mana cost. That's fantastic. This is an amazing card. Uh, Being able to pay life, it's literally like this is Bolas's Citadel for enchantments. It's good. 2 in a black sack, another enchantment, Demon of Fates. Fate's design gets +X/+O until the end of turn, where X is the sacrifice enchantment's mana value. So you can sack something you don't really care for its third ability, give Demon of Fate's design a big boost, and just swing. Then we have, and it's at instant speed, I believe. Then we have Cacophony Unleashed, a 2 black enchantment. When it enters the battlefield, if you cast it, destroy all non enchantment creatures. And then when it or another enchantment enters the battlefield under your control until the end of turn, Cacophony Unleashed becomes a legendary 6/6, a nightmare god creature with menace and death touch. It's still an enchantment. So really cool that you get this enchantment that when it enters the battlefield just kind of bops all of your opponent's stuff because odds are they're probably not running a lot of enchantment stuff. And then also when you play an enchantment, um, this thing just becomes a 6/6 nightmare god with menace and death touch that can just fucking blap through your opponent's stuff. We have a new impetus. We have Ghoulish Impetus, enchantment aura 2 and a black. For it says enchant creature gets +1/+1, has death touch, and is goaded. When enchant creature dies, return Ghoulish Impetus to the battlefield at the beginning of the next end step. So essentially, you put it on your opponent's creature, goad it so it attacks your other opponents. When that creature is eventually dead or destroyed, it has to die. It can't be exiled. You just bounce Ghoulish Impetus into the ether, and then it comes back at the next end step, and you get to attach it to another creature. We have Composer of Spring, one colorless and a green for a 1/3 Satyr Bard. As Constellation, whenever an enchantment enters the battlefield under your control, you may put a land card from your hand onto the battlefield tapped. If you control 6 or more enchantments, instead you may put a creature or land card from your hand onto the battlefield tapped. This is a great card. This is a really good ramp in the early game, and then really good just playing big guys from your hand every single time you play an enchantment, which is really nice. Then we have Nyxborn Behemoth, however you want to say it. 10/10 for 10 and 2 green. Enchantment creature beast. This spell costs X less to cast, where X is the total mana value of non-creature enchantments you control. Really good. That you could get a 10/10 with trample for 2 green is great. Um, 1 in a green, sack another enchantment. This gets indestructible until the end of turn. So you can protect it as well. Very nice. So we've got Onyxia, we've got Calyx, Destiny's Hand, uh, which is a good reprint. We have Arasta of the Endless Web, um, Archon of Sun's Grace, Courser of Crewfix, Destiny Spinner. Both of these are really good reprints. Doomwake Giant is good. Eidolon of Blossoms, another good reprint. Erebos Bleak Hearted is good. Greater Tanuki, Heliod, OG Heliod, God of the Sun, which is the one that creates the 2/1 white cleric enchantment creatures. Herald of Pantheon, Jukai Naturalist, Mesa Enchantress. There's a lot of enchantresses in this deck that got reprinted. Mind Rack Harpy, Nessian Wanderer, um, Nyx Weaver, Sanctum Weaver, Satyr Enchanter, um, Spirited Companion, Starfield Mystic. Sithist Harvest Hand is probably the best enchantress in the deck. Verduran Enchantress got reprinted, which is amazing. Then we have a Path to Exile in the instance. Culling Ritual, Extinguish All Hope, Kodama's Reach, and Rampant Growth in the sorceries. We'll save the enchantments for last. Lands, nothing really to look at, I don't think. Like, it's just kind of disappointing how like lackluster the land base is for these decks. Uh, Artifacts are Arcane Insignia and Soul Ring. That's it. And then for enchantments, you got 16 of them. We've got Abundance, Battle for Bredegard, Binding the Old Gods, Cast Out, Dreadhorde Invasion, Enchantress's Presence, which is great. Font of Fertility, Colony Heart Expedition, Love Song of Night and Day, Omen of the Hunt, Omen of the Sun, Sandworm Convergence. That's where you get your worms from. Sigil of the Empty Throne, great card. Uh, the Binding of the Titans, the Eldest Reborn, and the Mending of Dominaria. These are all great enchantments. Um, there's a few cards I think you could possibly do with adding, especially if you want some more sagas as well as enchantments. I think adding an Urza Saga to the deck is probably in your best interest. It's a saga as well as a land. Um, Possibly adding what's it called? The adding the I can't remember what they're called. I have so many enchantment decks I'm trying to remember. You could add more enchantresses to the deck, like, there's more expensive ones, obviously, that you could add, like, what's it called? The green one. Can't remember what it's called. God, I'm just having a big brain fart right now on enchantments. There's more cards you could add to this deck to, like, really fill it out with enchantments. If I was building this deck, I would take out Narcy only because you're not really getting, um, much from her. There's only, like, 5 or 6 sagas in here. You definitely should have sagas. They're good enchantments, but I don't think it's enough to keep her in the deck. And I would just be buffing out the deck with better cards. I'd be taking out like a bunch of these, like Eldest Reborn. You don't really need. The Binding of the Titans is cool, but you don't really need it. Um, Love Song of Nine Day is good. You should keep that one. Battle for Bredegard is good, but um I would take out Binding of the Old Gods. It's removal, but like you can just pump up your instants. Like you can add Sword to Plowshares. Um, Vindicate is that what it is? Vindicate is black and white. The black and white one, yeah, you could add that. I feel like those would just be better options. Overall, I think the deck is really good. I think that if you're looking to pick up one of these decks, for as close to MSRP as possible, because the only 2 that are available on Amazon right now, because I don't know what it's looking like for my local LGS, so I don't know what it's looking like for most people's LGSs, but the, Amazon currently has the Sliver deck up for 85 and the, enchantment deck up for 85 as I'm recording this, by the way. This is going up I'm recording this at the day I'm recording, or the day I'm uploading it the day I'm recording it, so they're both up for MSRP right now, which is really good, or close to MSRP, obviously, because MSRP is 80 even, and the decks are like 85 and some change. They come out on August 4th, so if you were gonna pick up one of these decks, this would probably be the one I recommend to most people if you couldn't get the Eldrazi one. The Eldrazi one is hands down the best one of the 4. It's got like, some of the best reprints and new cards I've seen in a commander deck in a long time. But that's it for me, guys. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like and subscribe. Hit that bell notification button down below to know when my videos go live, and I will catch you guys in the next video. Peace, guys.